Hey, Gali. I'm really sorry to hear about your pet fish.
I don't understand. I fed it, gave it lots of attention, took it out of its tank, wore it on my back, strapped large cannons to it, and used it as a hat. Where did I go wrong? Leela, where'd you go?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the recent review. Today we're going to be looking over set number 71307, Gali, Uniter of Water, who contains approximately 87 pieces and retails for $15. We'll also be taking a look at set number 71302, Akita, Creature of Water, who contains approximately 120 pieces and retails for around $10. Let me first get something out of the way. The pros and cons in this video are not going to be my opinion. They're community opinions or objective facts about the sets that I can demonstrate here that are either good or bad things about them. However, at the end of the review, I am going to give you our TTV personal recommendation as to whether or not this set is worth your money right now, a little bit later, or not at all. Thank you very much, and let's jump into the review. Starting us off is Gali, Uniter of Water. Now, Gali is quite interesting. Her stance in the community is somewhat 50-50. So, what's changed? Well, compared to her prior 2015 form, actually quite a lot. She's gotten a little bit taller, and that's even when Gali Master has her fin boot things, the fins on her feet, she's still taller. She also got rid of the yellow and replaced it for orange, which is actually a better complementary color to the dark azure. Specifically the size 4 armor piece on her upper right leg and on her upper shoulders. That is a new recolor. I'm not currently aware of whether or not the transparent blue pieces are new recolors, but I do not believe that they are. Also, the Vorox armor is actually new in orange, and this is a piece that came out in 2009. So they have brought it back, and it actually works aesthetically well with the CCBS. And it is now here on Gali in orange. You get 2 of those, so you do have an even number. As far as new pieces are concerned, we actually have quite a bit. The new torso pieces are generally a 3-piece combination. You have the pelvic piece, which is 1 piece and it's in gunmetal. Then you have the actual torso beam piece, which connects to the pelvic piece, and that's in black. And then we have the, quote, piece of unification, and that is on Gali in silver. We also have a new add-on, specifically the crystal piece, and that is silver melding into a bright, transparent blue, similar to her bone pieces on her lower legs and lower arms. We also have the new blade piece, and that's silver melded with a bright light blue. It's not the dark azure. It may be light azure, but I'm not quite sure. That rhymes. Ha ha! As well as all of those, we do have a new eye stock, which is shortened, similar to what they did in 2008 with the Metru eye stock. However, the light piping is significantly worse now because of it. We do have a new mask, and we can see the Nuva symbol is on said mask, however, it is incorrectly flipped on its side, as well as the new torso piece, which does also feature the Nuva symbol, however, in its proper orientation. The new torso is quite controversial amongst Bionicle fans at the moment. While some really like the fact that it is harkening back to old Bionicle with all the Technic pistons and greebles and whatnot, some are not as happy, because while they may like the design, at least on the torso, the printing and the coloration is a giant silver block on her torso, and it's one giant piece that doesn't do a whole lot, and it really breaks the CCBS aesthetic. Now, contrary to that, as I said prior, everyone does seem to like the pattern on the torso. The Nuva symbol is, like I said, also correctly implemented on the center of the torso, and the colors are now nice azure, blue, dark azure, as well as orange. And it's a symmetric pattern this time, instead of the asymmetric, wibbly-wobbly stuff that was on the prior incarnation. As far as poseability is concerned, Gali features the standard points of articulation, 3 in the arms, 3 in the legs, and 1 in the head. However, she does additionally feature 1 in the waist. The gear function is now moved from the shoulders and arms all the way down, like I said, to the waist. You turn 1 gear in the back, and it will turn the torso a certain direction, depending on where you turn the gear. The function actually works out rather well. It doesn't go a full 360, but that's fine. It works well nicely. The friction is also quite decent. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a downside, and this is what a lot of the Uniter sets have come under fire for. You see, they're two pieces, the pelvic piece and the actual torso beam. So in order to get them together, you have to snap them into place. Well, unfortunately, they're very difficult to take apart. Not to mention, the friction is so high that if you try and turn it and it's really, really bad, it will make an audible squeaky noise. I'm lucky enough not to have that happen on mine, and there are some fixes to it. Some say, if you actually can do it, pull it apart and put it back in again. Alternatively, clean it before you put the piece into the other. However, the downside to both of these techniques is significantly decreased friction. So you got to be very careful and choose whether or not you want a quieter set or one with decent friction. Another thing Gali has come under fire for are her proportions. Many believe that her arms are too stubby and her legs are also oddly constructed. Ignoring the armor placement for the moment, the upper leg is much longer than the lower leg, and not a lot of people like that. It seems it's actually rather odd. All the feminine form that Gali Master had is completely void on this set. Granted, the armor does occasionally give it the same general illusion, but the effect is certainly not the same as it was on the 2015 version of this character. Now, onto the armor placement, it's really weird. The Vorax armor is on one side of her leg, while the other leg has the new add-on, which is also on the side. It leaves for a lot of gaps, and unlike the 2015 add-on piece, it doesn't curve back inward to create kind of a seal of sorts. So they just kind of stick off the sides awkwardly. Additionally, the torso is much longer this go-around, which is probably why the arms seem so short. To add on to all this, her new weapon is no longer a one-handed tool. It is a two-handed weapon. It is a spear. Now, the flip side of the weapon is that it is actually a lot of fun. It does have a neat little spinny thing on the blade, and if you turn the gear, it will spin and it works quite nicely. A lot of people also like the handguard for its design and the keychain for just existing. However, on the other side of that, it's a two-handed weapon, and not a lot of people have an easy time posing Gali. They also don't like the fact that the spear will bend because it's using a weaker axle and a weaker pin. It's supposed to do that so that you can turn the hand without turning the blade piece. However, it does mean that you gotta be careful, otherwise it will look like the spear is bending. Another thing people don't like is the fact that the blade tip is not dark azure. The last thing is the head. There's a new eye socket that they put in here. It works the same with the same head, however the back has been cut off, and this is really to allow for the creature combination model. Granted, the eye piping is significantly worse this time around. As far as the mask is concerned, Gali Uniter comes with two versions of it. The mask is certainly different. The bottom half is generally the same, however without the vents, if you will, but the top half has completely changed. On the standard blue version, the top half is actually a silver meld, and on the gold version, the top half is a dark transparent blue meld, which, because of the two colors combined, it looks kind of greenish in the middle. Alright, that's been a brief look at Gali. Let's go ahead and give Akita a look. Now, Akita might be a physically smaller set, however, this creature definitely has more pieces than the Toa. We do get some new recolors here as well, specifically the Mystica fin pieces that we got back in 2008. We now have these in dark azure, which is really cool. The color scheme is quite consistent, being that of silver, black, orange, dark azure, and a little bit of blue. The build is especially what is most interesting here. It is an incredibly complex and unique design. Now, story-wise, Akita is supposed to be kind of like a shark, and you can kind of tell that. The head doesn't look it, however, there are some things that would designate kind of sharkiness. I can definitely tell where the inspiration came from. Now, the main feature, or the two main features with Akita, are actually the two functions. One being the most obvious, that of the blasters, and these are two protector blasters in transparent light blue, like we got in Akimu, yeah. But definitely has two of them, So you're going to get about 12 shots, 6 per blaster, and then an additional 6 extra per blaster. The other function additionally works quite well. The back tail you can push forward, and the blasters will also do the same. They will rotate forward, along with the 2 side fins, which do move up and down as well. This is really cool. It's a seamless function that does not actually intrude whatsoever on the form of the set. It actually just blends together nicely. The color scheme also works well, and overall it's an enjoyable build. The main criticism regarding Akita is that there isn't a whole lot to pose with her, specifically that of only the tail, 2 points of articulation, and the head, another 2 points. Sure, the fins have generally just 1, and you can move the blasters up and down, however that is a limited effect. The head is a new mold, and it's quite intricate. It's got a lot of runes, it has the eyes, and in this case it is a blend of silver and transparent dark blue, with an orange horn on the tip. The set is actually a lot of fun, and the stand that comes with it, the Technic stand, is a great help. Wonderful for displaying a set that has no arms or legs. Overall, quite an enjoyable build and a fan favorite. Coming with Akita is the Shadow Trap, or at least the Water Shadow Trap. And with this, you have, it closes and it opens. And the new pieces are the Bear Trap-esque looking gunmetal pieces. We do have the Exoforce arms in standard matte blue, as well as these claw pieces. Very long legs, and a propeller at the end, which is what makes this one unique. And from what I understand, the main criticism regarding this Shadow Trap is that it is hard to get to stand, and to a degree that holds true. It also has Exoforce hands in the arms, and I'm not sure what exactly they're meant for. The Shadow Trap is fun, and it can kind of capture a creature head, but it's a little small. The most it can really do is, attempt to wrap around a Toa's foot. So there's not a whole lot there. It can hold onto a mask really well, though, so maybe that's what you're supposed to do with it. So at the end, Akita is a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and see what the two are like combined. Now, to begin the combination, you go ahead and replace Gali's mask with the gold one. And the mask flying function actually works a lot better this time around. The mask is actually a lot stabler, and it'll fly further and actually fly off when you use the function. So put on the gold mask, and then you go ahead and you take Akita, take her off the stand, and what you're supposed to do is line up the 2 pinholes with the pin and the axle. You just click them together, and they'll actually hold quite nicely. Not a whole lot of shaking and what have you. Go ahead and place the creature head over the mask of water. Now, it's not going to snap together, but it is just going to lie there. If you can position it right, then it'll look fine. Finally, take that back fin and put it up. So that way, the cannons are right over Gali's shoulders. And there you have it. The creature water and the uniter of water, well, they're united. This actually looks really good. A lot of people really like how this appears. It gives Gali a lot of extra bulk and battle readiness, and actually works with the color scheme as well. It adds a lot more dark azure, it adds more orange accents, and more transparent blue. The one downside is the back heaviness, as well as the fact that the creature head is silver and not gold, so it doesn't really meld that well. It's kind of like Gali is wearing a hat or something. However, for the most part, people really do enjoy this unification. So, all in all, that's actually a lot of fun. The sets are quite enjoyable. Many people do like them. The builds are quite intricate. They're a lot of fun, and it's certainly interesting building a uniter for the first time. Now, the major downsides would probably be when it comes to comparing this Gali to the prior Gali. It's not very feminine, and there are some issues with the proportions and posability, and you would have that haphazard squeakiness with the gear function. But those things aside, they're both an excellent deal. Now, our TTV personal recommendation would be you can probably pass on Gali for now and just purchase her later. She's not an immediate buy. She's definitely not the worst of the $15 Toa, but not exactly the best either. She doesn't live up to her prior form. Really, if you're a fan of Gali, you should get her, but other than that, you could probably wait. However, as far as Akita is concerned, we highly recommend you purchase her as soon as you can. She's a fantastic creature, a great price for a lot of pieces and a lot of fun to build to boot. But what do you guys think about Gali? Do you think she compares well to her prior form? Or do you think the colors even work? What do you think of Akita, too? Let us know either in the comments below or on the TTV Message Boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. I'm Eljay, and thanks for watching.